Welcome to the Saints post-game report. Big bounce-back win by New Orleans, 28-13 win over the Patriots. A lot of things a lot better in this game than they were against the Panthers in week 2. Obviously, offensively, the Saints were able to find their rhythm. They were able to not only establish their run game, but also establish a good pass game. Jameis Winston, 13 of 21, 128 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. While he was sacked 3 times, he had no interceptions on the game. Solid performance offensively. I think the defense was even better. So let's bring in John DeShazer, who is in Foxborough. John, we got a lot of parts back on the defensive end here. What did you like from what you saw on the defense?
Well, I thought they made enough plays on this one. They got a little bit shaky at the end in the second half when they allowed a quick touchdown drive. But for the most part, I think this is the way the Saints are going to look, at least for the immediate future, the complementary football. You get enough from the offense. You get a great defensive performance. You get some decent special teams play with a block punt and also a nice return game from Deontay Harris. And I think this is just the way it's going to have to look until they kind of find their footing on offense. This obviously is not the explosive offense that we're accustomed to seeing under Coach Sean Payton, and yet the Saints are 2-1 as they get ready to go back home and play the next game in the the Caesars Superdome. And so they're finding ways to win, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how pretty it is. You don't get any bonuses for style points. You just get the bonuses for winning, and they've been able to win 2 out of 3.
The offense did exactly what they needed to do at the end of that ball game. Looked like the Patriots were coming for a comeback in the fourth quarter, had that touchdown with 9 minutes, 22 seconds to go to bring it to a one-score game, 21-13. But the offense, they held their ground, and they did it for almost 7 minutes. They took a lot of time off the clock, and then they were able to score again to extend the lead to 2 scores, the 28-13 final. JD, what did you see on that final drive that really clicked for the Saints?
Well, Aaron, that was an elite drive because, 1, they knew the Saints needed to eat some time off the clock, or at least wanted to. 2, they knew the Saints were probably going to run the football to do it, and yet the Saints were able to impose their will on New England's defense on that drive. So, you can't ask for a whole lot more than that to be able to basically lean on that defense when they know what's coming. Basically point and say, look, this is where we're going with the football. Stop it if you can. They did that on a couple of Taysom Hill runs, and New England was not able to stop it. I think that's an elite drive when you have to have it, because the Saints were at a point where they probably wanted to keep the defense off the field, probably wanted to chew up some clock on offense, string together some first downs, put together a time-consuming drive, and they were able to do all of those things when New England had to have known exactly what was coming, because the Saints were leading 21-13 at that moment. They weren't desperate. They didn't have to score again. But the fact that they were able to put together that kind of drive, I think, showed a lot about what this offense can be and the way it can impose its will on an opposing defense, when they just keep on banging on and banging them until they finally crack through and get a long touchdown drive.
It was fun to see Taysom Hill cap that off. He took the direct snap for a 4-yard touchdown run to extend it to the 28-13 lead there. A couple other people that stood out to me today, obviously getting corner Marshon Lattimore back in the game. He came up in a big way, especially at the end of the game, capping it off with an interception. But it was earlier in the game where he stood out as well. JD, what did you like from him and his performance and his return back to the field?
Well, he's a lockdown corner. He can do those things. And so, missing him in the last game, I don't think that was the difference between victory or defeat. But having him out there gives you a certain security blanket on defense where you can put him out there on an opposing receiver. And that you can get that production where he might shut the guy down completely, or he certainly is going to make it a difficult day for him. So to have him back, and to have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, who had a sack early and made his presence known also, to have those guys back and put them in that defensive backfield, I think it allows the defensive line and, again, the linebackers to maybe apply a little bit more pressure. I think they did a really good job of getting after Mac Jones. Didn't sack him every time, but they got him off his mark. They sped him up a little bit. They got him rushed a little bit. And sometimes he threw one late. I know that Caden Ellis hit him and forced an interception. So those things add up over the course of a game where you continue to get into the quarterback. You continue to get into his mind, continue to get into his head, and maybe he starts seeing things that aren't necessarily there all the time if you hit him and you rush him enough. And I think bringing back a guy like Marshon Lattimore can only help because, again, he is an elite cornerback in this league. He can cover. And when you have that kind of guy, you can just put him out there and say, okay, you get that guy, and you don't have to worry about that so much.
You mentioned the ability to get to the quarterback, Mac Jones, 2 sacks, but with 3 big turnovers in this game. The Saints, they didn't have any turnovers. Ball security was a point of emphasis coming into this game and something that they carried out extremely well. Talking to Winston and how he responded in this game, I know communication was a big point of emphasis as well. How do you think the line and Winston worked today?
I think they did well. I mean, he had some pressure, and he threw a couple where, it might have been a little bit shaky, but, he didn't come up with the turnovers, and that's the main thing. If this team is going to play like this and they're not going to be a quick strike offense as we're accustomed to seeing, then ball security is going to be of the utmost importance. You cannot give extra opportunities to the opponent when you're not scoring at a fast rate as we're accustomed to seeing this team do. So ball security. Put the defense back out on the field. Let the defense, get some stops. Let the defense maybe even get a pick 6, which they did in this game. Let the defense do what they're accustomed to doing, because this is a really good defense. They've been a good defense for the last 2-3 years, but now the spotlight is there because there isn't the Drew Brees on offense, and you're accustomed to seeing all those points. So now this defense says, look, we want this burden. We want this responsibility on our shoulders, and they've shown at least 2 out of the first 3 games that they're capable of handling it.
Defensively, 59 total tackles, 2 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. There was 8 pass deflections and 11 quarterback hits. And of course, you mentioned that touchdown. Just a great performance by the defense overall. Something that we've become accustomed to is their rush defense. Just an overall good performance by them there. All right, we have to talk about Alvin Kamara because it was somebody that we talked about coming into this game, how he needed to be more of a present, get more touches. He had more touches in, I think, the first quarter and a half than he did in the entire game at Carolina last week. What stood out to you about Kamara's performance today?
Well, and with him, it might not necessarily be the yards. It's the touches and the threat he poses with those touches. He didn't pile up, 180 yards of offense, but it's the threat he gives you on offense that allows probably some teammates to get over and get open. And he also is one of those guys who, he's a lot tougher than you think. You don't think of Alvin Kamara as a between the tackles runner, and yet that's a lot of what he did in this game. Ran between the tackles, picked up the tough yards, kept the clock moving, kept the chains moving. Those are things that you're not accustomed to saying about him or maybe seeing from him, but things that he is fully capable of doing. If the Saints want to be a decent offense, he has to be the guy. And we have Coach Payton coming right now, Aaron, so here we go.
All right, we'll tune in to Coach.
Hi, everybody. Coach Payton.
Can you guys see and hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Go ahead.
Sean, is this the formula for you all to win this season? Defense, special teams, efficient offense?
Yeah, listen, I know this, Jeff, just being in this league long enough that sometimes that formula has to change. We felt like going in that, we wanted to effectively run the football. Obviously, ball security, playing in here is a must when you consider their record at home. But I think it's too hard to say each week. I mean, it's going to vary based on the opponents, but I thought we did a handful of the things we were trying to do. We're going to look at the tape Monday. I'm sure it's not going to be perfect, and then make the corrections.
I know you talked about turnovers earlier in the week. How much did you hammer home that point to Jameis in particular?
Well, to everyone. When you're 108-7 at home, when you win the turnover battle, that's significant. Obviously, that's a testament to their program, and so we just had to be. We're mindful of it every week, but it had to be something that was, etched in our heads every day, and so I thought we took care of the football, and I thought that was important.
Sean, on the touchdown throw, did Jameis know there was a flag coming, or is that a decision that you?
No, I don't think he knew there was a flag coming. I think it was that, complete or incomplete. We'll look at the tape. We were a bit fortunate there, I think, and Marquez made a play and kind of a hold your breath moment.
Sean, before that last touchdown drive that you guys put together, the offense hadn't really had much going in the second half there. What was kind of, when you were going into that drive, what were you hoping you guys accomplished there?
Well, look, naturally, it was to possess the ball. I mean, momentum had shifted. They had just come off a score. It was a one-score game at that point, so a field goal even really was going to give us some breathing room, but it was to change the field position as much as anything, and I felt like we played with a positive field position for a large part of the first half and even into the early part of the second half. But when you start a drive like that, you're thinking about making first downs. You're not in a just 4-minute run the ball mode. You know you're going to have to throw it as well as run it. And that was a significant drive.
Was Taysom like on that drive specifically, considering what you wanted to accomplish? Was that kind of like an in-game decision right there? Or was he just like a part of?
Well, look, later in the game like that, you're going to get a loaded box, and so there's one way to lighten it a little bit and remove somebody and then directly run it with your quarterback. So part of that was to combat some of the heavier fronts.
Sean, your team's coming back home now. How did you say they handled this past, 3 or 4 weeks, and what did you kind of learn about this team during this time?
Look, I thought we've handled it well. The people, everyone at TCU, Texas Stadium, the hotel we were at, there were a lot of people that were fantastic and very supportive of us. It's obviously, a challenge when you're not on schedule at home, but I thought we handled that part of it well. I thought we had a good week of preparation leading up to this game, and it'd be good to get home tonight finally and kind of get back to our facility.
Sean, obviously you're home for a while, or have you kind of liked the aspect of all of y'all on the road together?
Yeah, look, it is what it is. I think starting off the season, relative to how training camps are, I think that as challenging as it was for everyone, there is an element where you're focused on football, you're at the hotel, there aren't a lot of distractions, and we got to keep getting better. We'll have a chance to do that again this week. And we'll be back, a little bit more to a familiar circumstance.
Sean, I know the defense has been playing really well for a few years now, but what have you really liked about the way they've kind of set the tone in a couple of these games now, despite having 2 rookie starters, a lot of newcomers in that front seven?
Yeah, look, I thought we tackled in space well today, number one. I thought we affected the quarterback. When it became a little bit more one-dimensional, obviously it's harder, it's a little bit more difficult than to consistently generate the rush, but thought we kept the ball in front of us. And I'm sure when we watch the tape, there'll be some things that stand out, but I really thought we tackled well.
Sean, did you feel like you guys cleaned everything up on the protections that you wanted to this week coming into the game?
Yeah, look, that's a week-to-week thing, and so for the most part, I thought up front we blocked them well. Teron went down early on, and we jumped right in. James got in, and but we were able to run the ball, and I think that was important.
Did you all see something on the block punt that you all thought you might be able to get to one, or was that just something?
Yeah, I can't say that for sure. I think it was more of a byproduct of probably really good effort and technique. That was significant, I thought all 3 areas, all 3 phases did a good job. We had a handful of unique situations come up. I thought we handled them well.
Sean, Sean, have you changed your mindset at all on? You used to talk about Alvin Kamara's pitch count, but obviously he's very heavily involved in the run game and pass game. Is that what this team kind of needs early this year?
Yeah, we still are smart about the reps. I don't know how many total snaps, but we talk about it between each series, every series.
And Sean, on that last drive in particular, Deontay made 2 really big catches. One of them moved the chains. How crucial was he in just keeping that thing going and eating up a big chunk of the clock there?
Yeah, look, in order to do that, you have to convert a third down or two, and the 3rd and 6 or 7, 3rd and 5, I think it was. I'm not sure. He had a big conversion though on their bench, and then that was significant, I thought. And then later came back. We had another underneath pass to him. That was a big drive. All right, thank you.
We'll Taysom Hill right now. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat.
Right now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to move this?
Just
Oh, I guess.
you can start whenever Taysom's ready.
Hey, Taysom, when you're going into that last drive, are you kind of assuming that you're going to be playing a little bit bigger role running the ball just against some of those heavier run fronts? Like, how do you kind of go into that?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is with me, you gain a blocker. Some of our QB run stuff and some of those personnel. So yeah, I think I wasn't surprised. Some of those short yardage situations, it's tough to stop.
Yeah.
Hey, Taysom, second time you all have won this year, throwing for less than 150 yards. Is this, you think, going to be the identity of this team? Maybe a little different than past teams?
I can tell you the mindset is just to win. I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, but you got to play the game, you got to play the situation, and I think throughout my career, it's a team that manages those situations the best that wins the game. So if we throw for 150 yards, and I didn't see the numbers, I don't know how many we rushed for, but it's all about winning. And when your defense is creating turnovers like that, that's what you do.
Amy Jeffs.
Hey, Taysom. How, bigger picture question here, how have you kind of reestablished yourself in doing all of the things that you do over the past 3 weeks when you necessarily didn't work on those things in training camp?
Yeah, I would say that this year has been similar to the other ones, where even in the previous years, I really wasn't taking a lot of reps through training camp and so forth, prepping for playing this different role, this hybrid role. So I would say, like, my preparation has been different, certainly, and I've spent a little bit more time with different position coaches with some, footwork and technique stuff that is obviously a little foreign to me, but I think I was able to adjust well because I've been doing it for the last few years.
Did they ease you into anything, or just kind of threw you back into stuff pretty immediately? Yeah,
I think that they kind of threw me back in, but I think that it's kind of been a slow ramp up period as you look back to week 1 to 2 and now to 3. I think this is the most that I played at different spots, and so I hope that just continues to go that way.
Yeah, Taysom, the play before you scored, looked like they had a jump pass called. What did you see on that play to kind of wisely keep it and turn the corner and get the first down?
Yeah, it wasn't the look that we were hoping for, that we were expecting. So honestly, as we broke the huddle and I saw their adjustment, I didn't like the look, and so honestly, I was gonna just run it up the middle, and then I felt the soft edge, so I just found a little gap and did my best to obviously get the first down, but it ended up being a broken play, and luckily we were able to get the first down.
Mike Triplett.
Taysom, following up on Amy's question about your role, what was your mindset when it was time to switch back to that? Were you immediately willing to do whatever they asked of you? Was it tough to switch back into that mode?
I mean, yeah, I'd be lying if I you know, I obviously I wanted to have the opportunity to play quarterback, but it wasn't my time, and so you got to find ways to help the team win, and so with that in mind, I was happy to step into a role that gave us an advantage and help us win, and you know, it's been all go since then for sure.
Luke Johnson.
Hey, Taysom, when you're going into one of those drives where it's like you want to kill a bunch of clock, the Patriots are just kind of taking some momentum. Is there some confidence in this team in particular putting one of those like long 13, 14 play drives together?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough deal in the NFL, man. When you got these heavy defensive fronts and you can put together a drive like that. I don't remember what the time frame was. You know, 9 minute drive, something like that. And you can go and score. Man, that creates a lot of energy, a lot of momentum for us. As a team, as an offense, so that's huge. A great drive.
Got time for two more. Let's see, Amy Just.
Yeah, a two-parter from me. Did you actually hurdle someone on one of those plays at that last drive? The angle was kind of hard to see. And then, how excited are you just to be able to go home after being away for about a month?
Okay, two questions in complete different directions. I like it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's great. Yeah, so the safety came down. He was sitting right in the hole, and I didn't really have anywhere to go but up. So I did hurdle, picked up a few more yards, and then yes, I'm beyond excited to get back to New Orleans. I love the city. An element of just getting back to normal life, having your routine. You know, my family's flying down tomorrow, and I'm excited to be with them in our home, and it'll be a really nice transition for us.
Rod Walker.
Hey, Tyson, what did the team sort of learn about itself during this 3 weeks away from home?
Yeah, one, I think that we've proved that we can handle a lot of chaos, and you play in the NFL long enough, and you're going to have trials, you're going to have, you know, different things that come up, and really what shows of a good resilient team is how you handle, you know, chaos and difficult situations. And you know, this goes from the top down, from management to our equipment guys, our trainers, everyone is all in New Orleans. And the fact that they had the ability to pick up and move to Dallas, we were at 2 different hotels, you know, going to play in Jacksonville. We have a really resilient team. We got a team that knows what it takes to prepare to win football games no matter what. All right. Thanks, guys.
That was Saints head coach Sean Payton and Taysom Hill. Hill talking about how excited he was to be returning home. The team is coming back to New Orleans tonight. They are going to be rejoined with their families, be back in the community in anticipation of their first home game October 3rd against the Giants. Now that game, the Giants are 0-3. Today they had a loss to Atlanta, 17-14. Field goal in the last few seconds of that one sealed the deal for Atlanta to get the win there. So it should be a fun game having everybody back in the Superdome, and we're all excited. We saw that with 142 yards on the ground for a total of 250 total offensive yards on the day. And then he said ball security and the turnovers. Coming into this game, he mentioned the fact that the Patriots are 108-7 when they win the turnover battle. there in Gillette Stadium. And of course, today they did not win that battle. They had 3 turnovers and the Saints had none. So the Saints winning that one and winning the game. So definitely a few things that they harped on heading into this game played out in the Saints' favor. And he did also talk about Marquez Callaway's first touchdown. It came at the end of the second quarter. And that was a touchdown pass from Jameis Winston, who is approaching the podium. So we'll hear his thoughts of this
All right, Lee,
win.
you want to start, Jameis?
Hey, Jameis.
What's up, Luke?
Hey, what was kind of the mindset going into that last drive in the fourth quarter? I mean, you guys had kind of struggled the 3 preceding drives, but Taysom said you had a lot of confidence just to put together a long drive and kill some clock there.
Finish. That was simple. Just finish and get the win.
Jeff Nowak?
Hey, Jameis. So when you're playing across from a defense that's having the type of day y'all did today, does that affect kind of how you approach some of these situations, knowing that just not putting the defense in a disadvantaged position is probably going to be enough?
Yeah, well, we just knew that we just had to protect the football, and we were going to come off winning this game. I think we ran the ball really well. I think our defense played really well, and we protected the football, and that's the formula to winning games in the NFL.
Jeff Duncan?
Yeah, along those lines, Jameis, how often did you hear that message this week from you and just the whole team, from Coach Payton, about that turnover ratio in New England?
I mean, I think it was our key to victory. So we knew we had to come in and do that, and we did that, and that's why we won.
Mike Triplett?
Jameis, can you talk us through your decision to throw the TD pass to Marquez Callaway, even though you were kind of wrapped up?
Yeah,
what did you see on that play?
That was all God. I felt 0, so I checked it, and that was all God. Like, I was trying to throw that ball away. Marquez went up there and snatched it. So, touchdown, good guys.
What was the message to you after that throw? Like, don't do it again, but good throw? Or
If you're throwing away, make sure you throw it away. I said, and I told him, I said, God. I said, Coach, that's all God. Can't get in the way of God's plan.
Amy Just?
Yeah, on that, did you know it was a free play, or were you just going for it?
No, I did not know it was a free play.
Luke Johnson?
James, on that last drive, how clutch was Deontay, especially on that third down play, just to keep that drive going?
It was excellent. He created some separation, got open, and it was delivered to him.
Rod Walker?
Hey, James, how excited are you just to be, getting a chance to come back to New Orleans? And also, follow up on that, what have you kind of learned about this team these past 3 weeks?
Man, I'm more than excited to be able to prepare to play a team in our home stadium. I think we all excited for that. We excited to get out of Dallas, and we're excited to come home, man. Like, that's what we do it for. We did it for the city. We knew that we needed to get a win we knew everybody was going to be coming ready to represent anyway, but we know it would have been better taste in our mouths and a better taste in the city for us to come up here and get a good win in Foxborough.
Jeff Duncan?
Yeah, James, you've played in this league a while now. I mean, can you put into context what it means to come into this stadium against this team with that head coach on the other sidelines? I mean, not a lot of teams come in here and win in this place.
Yeah, I'm playing for my head coach. So our head coach, he has a lot of accolades as well. But again, we definitely revere Coach Belichick. He's definitely a Hall of Fame coach. But I'm just happy that we were able to come in as a team. Defense dominated, offensive line did their thing. They dominated the line of scrimmage. AK had a heck of a day, and we made plays in the passing game when we needed to. Taysom stepped up huge, carrying the load also on that last drive. So we played Saints football, and that's how we're playing right now. We protect the football and got a great win, and we're excited, man. We're excited to come back home and finally let other teams feel the wrath of our fans.
Brooke?
Jameis, I know communication was a big key this week, and the protection. It seemed like the offensive line, especially with Teron Armstead even going out, they were able to step up and continue to protect you well. Just how did you feel your communication was better this week and the protection from the offensive line?
I think we did a better job communicating. James Hurst did an incredible job in Landon coming in, filling in for James, of being resilient, man. We're going to see where the details on Teron, but we know we would love to have him back as speedily as possible. But these guys have been very resilient. Like I say, every week, man, I got the best offensive line in the whole league, man, for 2 weeks, right? We lose Eric McCoy, Caesar, and Calvin come in, and they pick up the load, right? And they did an excellent job today, and then we lose Teron today early, and James Hurst picks up the load, man. It just talks a lot about that room, how important it is for those guys to have continuity and be together. And I'm just happy that those guys were able to persevere today.
Fletcher Mackel.
Jameis, if I can follow up on something you just said, I think obviously people know you, the big arm and the ability to go vertical, and Sean and Drew, what they did here for so many years. You just said Saints football. Is Saints football now efficiency and physicality up front?
Well, Saints football has always been efficiency and physicality up front. I mean, them the only Saints that I knew. So that's all I know about the Saints. They went up front, and they play tough, and that's what we did here. I think the best thing is it's so challenging to win in this league. So any way that you do it to the best of your abilities. Obviously, I know I got to get better at the quarterback position, and I'm gonna continue to do that. But I'm happy that we got this win.
Thank you, Jameis.
Thank you.
Marshon Lattimore next. Amy, you can start.
Congrats on another pick six. What did you see on that play as it unfolded in front of you?
Well, they actually ran the same play, I believe, maybe a couple drives earlier, and DeMario made a good stop on it, but they were trying to sneak the tight end kind of, onto the backside, and I ended up getting picked, actually, I think by my own teammate. And so really I'm just rushing to my coverage, and ball gets tipped up in the air, and I'm able to come down with it.
Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Malcolm, in camp, you talked about how confident you were in this defense and how far along you were compared to a year ago. Are we starting to see the potential of this unit?
Well, I think we're starting to see that, we're the strength of our team, right? And we're going to have to play big in order for our team to have success. And that just is the identity and the formula that seems to be working for us. When we play stingy on defense, we take the ball away, we give our offense opportunities, and then when we get our special teams contributing as well, like they have, we're going to be hard to beat. And that's, we think that the heart of our team is going to be on our defense.
Mike Triplett.
Hey, Malcolm, I feel like I've written the same story a couple of times now about how the defense has really taken ownership of this team and setting the tone, but you guys just keep doing it. Is there anything that's different about the start to this season, even from last year, about how you guys are really wanting to set that tone?
Well, I think last year, on paper, we had the potential to be good. And this year we know we're good. And so the thing for us is how do we consistently put out the best version of ourselves week in and week out. And that's what we're trying to get to. We know, how good we are from an individual personnel standpoint, from a unit standpoint. But our challenge is how do we show up, in our the best versions of ourselves every single week, because our team is going to need us to do that.
Rod Walker.
Hey, Malcolm, do you remember your last pick six in that stadium?
Oh, yeah. In that stadium, yeah, I do. You don't forget the ones we get off of Brady. But it was, a lot less running on this one.
Right. I wanted to ask you about just coming back home, though. How do you feel about getting a chance to come back to New Orleans?
I mean, yeah.
Also, what have you kind of learned about this team during this past month?
Yeah, I mean, this is a unique situation. To be away from home for a month, coming straight off of training camp, it's almost like we've been in training camp for feels like 2.5 months now. But we weather through it. The only thing that we can control is what happens actually in the game and on the field. So we try to put all our focus on the game plan, the preparation, the practices. And I know everybody's guys have been away from their families, been away from the city, their homes, excited to go back, but also excited to open up with our first game in front of our fans.
Luke Johnson.
Hey Malcolm, I'm just curious from a defense's perspective, when the offense puts together a 7-minute drive in the fourth quarter that just gets you guys off the field. What's kind of your emotion when you're experiencing that on the sidelines, just seeing them just kind of go down there and take control?
Oh, it's clutch. I mean, that's what the defense and the special teams, we felt like we did a lot of work, to get us into that space, and then to have the offense, when you need them, eat up the clock, run the ball, go down the field, get a score. In a critical game where, the Patriots are trying to get the momentum back on their side. That's how you play complementary football.
Got time for 2 more. Amy Just.
Yeah, y'all got both Marshon and CJ back today after they missed last week. How instrumental was getting both of them back for this one?
I think that's huge. That's one side of the field that you don't even worry about where Marshon's at. And then, CJ came in immediately and had impact on the game. He's got a sack, a couple big plays. He can cover anybody in the slot. So those are 2 big pieces of what we do. So having them back obviously makes the load a lot lighter on everybody else.
Nick Underhill.
Malcolm, do you guys like that pressure, and do you embrace the pressure of feeling like you got to be the best version of yourself every week? And just how do you guys kind of handle that?
Yeah, we do, because it's really no pressure when you're competing against yourself. It's not even about the opponent. We're at this point we're trying to figure out or push ourselves to a place that's really unknown, and so we don't know how good we can be, and that's really the challenge. When you're competing against yourself, it's not really hard. It's really no pressure. We just go out there, play, we have fun, execute the things that we practice. We're well prepared. Our coaches have good plans. We trust in one another. And so, we'll just keep seeing week in and week out. We'll see how good we can be.
Can I sneak one more in? Just, if you got a second, just how have you seen Adebo handle his role just the first 3 weeks?
Most times you especially as a safety, when you get young players out there, new guys, you oftentimes feel like you got to over communicate or, talk to them or keep them in the game. And, he's as settled as a rookie as I've really seen at the corner spot. Challenges every play, competes, doesn't get frustrated by, somebody catching the ball on him, knows what he's supposed to do. He shows up, he tackles. I've been impressed by how he started the season.
Appreciate it, Malcolm. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Luke, you can start.
Hey, Alvin. Jameis said when, the kind of mood when you get into the huddle, right after the Patriots close it to, I think, an 8-point game is finished. How do you kind of, when you're in that moment, you got to put together a long drive to take the clock out. How do you do that?
Yeah, just like Jameis said, we got to finish. It's all encompassing. Sean got to call the right calls. We got to execute them. But I think our mentality is just that, finish. We know what the assignment is. We know what we have to do. We know what we're capable of. So I think, that's the mentality we have, and that's what we stick to.
Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Alvin, I think you had 9 touches in the first 13 plays. You all came out in that kind of jumbo package early on with the tackle eligible. Were you all trying to set a tone earlier? Because Sean said he thought the running game was going to be a key to winning this game.
Yeah, Sean said it early in the week. He wanted to win the running battle. He didn't care. He wanted to protect the ball and win the rushing battle. So I think we came out and went run heavy, and I think it stuck throughout the game.
Last one for Alvin, Mike Triplett.
Alvin, your touches in general have been really up this season. Is that something you invite? Is that something you feel like might be a little different for you in your role this offseason or
Yeah,
this season?
I'm cool with it. I mean, like I said, I've always said, you know, whenever the ball comes to me, I mean, however it comes to me, I'll take advantage of the touches. So, you know, just trying to. I think the thing is just making sure their quality and their good looks, and you know, I think when the situation calls for it, they're the right calls. But you know, I'm fine. I'm good. You know, I'm healthy. I'm seeing everything well, so I feel good about the touches.
Get another one in, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, and Taysom Hill, part of that run game as a closer. Do you like him in that closer role? Is he suited for that?
I don't think it's a closer role. I think it was just Sean going and you know, pulling some more tricks out of his hat. Like, all right, well, we'll do this. And, you know, Taysom, he was always ready. So, I mean, he ran the ball well, and we closed it out. It was a good win.
Rod Walker.
Hey, Alvin, you told us a few weeks ago that, you know, you're ready to get back home. How excited are you about this plane ride that you're about to take?
I'm ready. Right when I get done with y'all, I'm about to go get on the plane.
Appreciate it, Alvin. Thank you.
No doubt.
Thank you, Alvin.
Amy, you can start.
Welcome back. Missed you last week. How did you feel coming into today, knowing that not just you coming back, but CJ was coming back too?
You know, we felt good. You know, we were just ready to come back, especially after last week. We were just ready to get out there, you know, and do what we got to do for the team, you know, for our brothers. So, you know, that's the only thing we was worried about, just getting back out there and bringing that extra, you know, whatever we need, you know, to go out there and win.
What does it mean to you that you only missed one game after having, you know, surgery earlier, you know, less than 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, I'm solid, you know. That ain't nothing. I just cast it up and go out there and play, you know.
Jeff Duncan.
Yeah, Marshon, about that cast, I mean, tell me about it. How restricted were you, and what was it like playing with it? I mean, obviously you can catch the ball.
I mean, once I'm out there playing, you know, sometimes I think about it, but not really. You know, I'm out there. Once I'm out there, no excuses. So that's just the mindset I go out there with, and that's it.
Can I follow up real quick? We talked to Malcolm a little while ago, and he said he feels like the strength of the team right now is the defense. What kind of potential do you all have on that side of the ball?
Oh, we got potential. Definitely from the D-line to the linebacker to the DB, you know. We got potential and we got depth right now, so, you know, we just want to just keep getting better, you know, every week. And by the end, you know, everybody going to see, you know, what we see if they haven't seen it yet. But, you know, I think the defense, you know, been rocking.
Luke Johnson.
Marshon, do you have to like practice catching with the cast on, and then what was it like watching last week's game, just knowing you were on the sidelines, nothing you could do about it?
Yeah, no, I don't really practice. You know, I be in practice catching and all that, just to make sure, you know, it don't bounce off the cast or whatever. But you know, I can catch. You know, it is what it is. And just being out there, man, I just wanted to be out there, like just being on the sideline made me want to get in the game, you know, and just help as much as I can. But you know, I was out and I was just on the sideline. I had to just make sure everybody was up, everybody kept their head up, and everybody, you know, we get knocked down a little bit. We don't fold though. That's the great thing about this defense. We don't fold.
Nick Underhill.
Marshon, how have you seen Adebo handle things and just how he's grown throughout camp and went through the first 3 weeks?
I mean, he grown. He a good player. You know, that's a little brother right now, and we just got to make sure we stay around him, just keep his head up in little situations. But he know already, you know, and he took all last year off, so this is like his first year back playing football. So, he just knocking a little rust off, but he good. Physical, he can do it all.
That's all we have time for. Appreciate your time, Marshon. Thank you.
A lot of good comments from the players there, especially on the defensive side. A lot of them saying that they believe that the defense is the strength of this football team. And with Marshon Lattimore, he emphasized the fact that they're just going to continue to work to get better, to be as good as they know that they can be. They want everybody else to see that. He said that it's going to come down to the potential that they have and the depth that they have in so many different positions. Hopefully at the end of the season, everybody else will see just how good they are. JD, what a game that we had here today, a 28-13 win by the Saints. Great rebound win. Saw good things on both the offensive and especially the defensive side of the ball. What are your just overall takeaways here with this win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good complementary football. Again, we're not accustomed to seeing the Saints play this way, win it defensively. But we heard Malcolm Jenkins say, this is the strength of this team right now. And as such, they carry a heavy load, and they're able to carry that load. We've seen it 2 out of the first 3 weeks. And we saw for the second half, actually, against Carolina. So, this looks like the formula to winning. And what it's all about is just winning the game. However you do it, just win the game. And they did that. And so now the Saints are 2-1, heading back home, preparing to play the Giants, and hopefully in their first game in the Caesars Superdome this season, maybe get to 3-1. But man, we're all glad to be going home. So let's get it.
Everybody happy to be going home, and even JD himself. Thank you so much for joining us today, John, and have safe travel back here. We're excited to have you back in New Orleans, as we are excited to have the team back. And it was Jameis Winston who said he is just so excited to feel the wrath of the Saints fans back in the Caesars Superdome. That will be October 3rd against the Giants. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights from this win, 28-13 over the Patriots.
Touchdown, New Orleans. And Jameis Winston, calm in the face of pressure, delivering to what should be his top target.
I mean, right here, you've got him just running this little Texas route, and watch Van Noy. I think he believes he's got inside help right here. Where's my inside help? Well, my inside help is gone, and that is a easy touchdown. Like I said, you'll never find an easier one than that. Based on the timing of the blitz, that ball is going to have to come out quick. So you put your foot in the ground, you go.
All pressure, and it's blocked. Andrew Dowell got in there for the block, and the Saints have it near midfield. The first-year pro out of Michigan State diving towards the punt, and he gets the hand on it.
And this is something you don't see very often against the New England Patriots, being out-special.
Blitz from the Saints. Jones steps up in the pocket, fluttering ball, picked off. Intercepted by P.J. Williams, and he's looking to take it back. P.J. Williams down inside the 10. But the ball came out loose. It was picked up by the Saints, and it's run in by Caden Ellis. It's a touchdown for New Orleans for the moment.
The ruling on the field is an interception by the defense.